The Locky Trinity did not come through for us last week as Kamaru Usman was unable to recapture the welterweight gold, and now that has definitively stated and crowned Leon Edwards as the welterweight king. It's unfortunate, but hats off to Leon Edwards for that beautiful performance. Obviously, I want to buck the trend this week with another Locky Trinity for UFC San Antonio, and I gotta say, it is not for the faint of heart, but the odds will obviously be reflective of that. Before I get into that, I want to drop a quick bit of news in terms of taking advantage of the YouTube membership option, which I've been opening now, and you can see that join button right under this video. And the first bit of content I'll be dropping on a weekly basis for the YouTube members is an early odds analysis of upcoming UFC events, or at least for the following week. So, for example, the first video you guys will have access to is going to be on Tuesday, and it will be a look ahead to UFC 287, which doesn't go down next week, but the following weekend. And that's the whole point of this, as we'll take a look at these early odds and see if there's anything we can take advantage of nice and early before we get into fight week and everybody turns their attention to that next event. So hopefully you guys are going to enjoy that. Very low cost. I believe it's $3.99. And I'll also be eventually introducing members only live streams where we can chat it up and talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So check that out. Hop on that, and I'll be dropping, like I said, the first video on Tuesday. All right, let's get into the Locky Trinity for this week. The first leg up is going to be an underdog. We're going to go with Trey Ogden, who's coming in at plus 120, and I really think that this guy should be the favorite in this matchup. Manuel Torres has a little bit of that public love considering how he dispatched of Frank Camacho in his last fight, but we all know the diminishing durability of Camacho was going to eventually bite him in the ass again, and that's exactly what happened. Torres is a much easier opponent than what Ogden dealt with last time against Daniel Zellhuber, and yet he's still the underdog here. He was a plus 300 underdog last time, smaller underdog this time, but underdog nonetheless. I believe that line is incorrect. I think we see Ogden deal with that big power early, easily, and he'll be able to take this fight to the ground, use his black belt in jiu-jitsu, and find a submission. There's your first leg. Second leg, we got to go with women's MMA for the rest of the way here, and the first of which is going to be Macy Barber. A little bit chalky, but I think that this is a great opportunity for her to continue to showcase the improvements she's been making since joining the Team Alpha Male team. She's very good in terms of utilizing her strength and her grappling, especially that cage clinch where she's able to push her opponents up against the cage and do some dirty boxing, landing some knees, and staying busy enough in that round to win off of control and damage and take home those rounds and a decision victory. I think she is much stronger than Andrea Lee, and I love the way that Team Alpha Male has been transitioning that power and explosiveness that Barber used to show in her striking game and now translating it to a full MMA game, and I think that's what we're going to see this weekend. Andrea Lee is best when she's able to get into her flow state of landing combinations, but I think she's going to have trouble doing so as she gets bonked on the counter by Macy Barber with much more powerful strikes, and then eventually stifled up against the cage as Barber thrives in those positions now. And then lastly, I gotta go with the veteran. I know she's 41 years old, but there is no way that Jana Santos is gonna go out there and beat Holm, even at this stage of her career. Holm has been in tremendous shape for her entire career, and I think that's paying off for her, especially at this stage in her career, because she's so physically fit and remains healthy enough that she can go out there and still have high-level performances. She's changed up her style from earlier in her career, which is where she used to utilize her movement, footwork, and striking to outpoint her opponents and win via decision. She's still winning via decision this time around and at this point of her career, but she's using her strength in a different way, similar to Macy Barber. She's tying her opponents up against the cage, landing takedowns and doing good enough work in those positions for the judges to see it in her favor. The Katlyn Vieira fight, a little bit closer than I would have liked to have been, and I believe that she deserved the decision that night, but I'm not expecting as much of a damaging type onslaught from Jana Santos this weekend, which will open up the opportunity for Holm to get a vast amount of control time and land some damage in those positions where she can take her victory home via decision. So there you go. We got Trey Ogden, Macy Barber, and Holm. Earlier this week when I dropped it on the Patreon, it was at plus 344. It's dropped a couple points now to plus 336 on DraftKings. Make sure you guys lock it in, and hopefully we can bounce back from this two-event losing streak that we've been on for the Locky Trinity. Obviously, you guys can tell where I got the name from. and we can cash the ticket this weekend. I will see you guys tomorrow for the 3 best prop bets, which we went 3 for 3 last week. Hopefully we can do that once again. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.